Okay, you probably had enough of the new music, although Fred's picks were really outstanding picks today. I'm just beyond the norm. I love it. And I like to think of myself as someone who goes beyond the norm. And maybe this was all born when I was younger. When I was in my 20s and the 80s, I got introduced to some stuff that wasn't top 40. And I'm going to prove it right now by sharing with you, just like Marvin did, my favorite songs of the 80s. Only I'm cheating a little bit. I've got two for each year. I just couldn't make it shorter. Here's why. First one. Come on. There we go. 1980. 1980. We got, hey, same guy Marvin was talking about, Steve
Uh,
Winwood,
yeah.
right? I think, Fred, you recently posted Ark of a Diver, right?
yeah, listen, I haven't heard that album in a while, and
Yeah.
I played it the other day while on a walk.
It's a great album. And
Yeah,
And Don, you spoke about when Steve Winwood started out. Was in the 60s, I think it was the
yes,
band.
correct. Yeah, he
he
was
was
just a
only
teenager.
about
It's amazing.
16, 17 years old.
It's
Yeah.
amazing that the guy was still performing and writing poetry in 1980.
Hey, come on. This is getting to me, man. Let Fred go ahead, Fred. I'm sorry.
Oh, he started out when he was 16 or 17 in
Yeah,
Spencer Davis group.
yeah, that was a
He
61.
was playing keyboards, organ, piano, and guitar in that group. He was practically running the whole group himself.
What a talented teenager he was. And he's still alive, okay?
Yeah,
Still, I don't know. He's made some great music even later than the 80s. All right, all right, all right.
yeah.
How
All
old
right,
is the
so that's
guy?
Night Train is my favorite on the album. It's the longest song. It's got a groove, it's percussive,
Yeah.
So check it out. All right. They have a pretty good video. This is before MTV. The other song I couldn't shake off was by the Cars
Ah,
from their least popular album that came out in 1980, Panorama. This song is Up and Down, which most people wouldn't know. It wasn't a hit, wasn't a single. It's an album track, but I love it. It's like the hardest edge car song you'll ever hear.
ah.
Put it that way. Okay. I'm going to speed through this list. 1981. Here's something off the beaten track, Kraftwerk. Way back when I was 14 years old, I heard on the radio Autobahn. And so I bought the album. And on the album, first side, 20 minutes of Autobahn. And the other side, sound experiments, little instrumentals. And that really affected this 14-year-old teenager, preteen, whatever. And I became an instant Kraftwerk fan. And I followed every album, loved them to
Oh, yeah.
bits. I've seen them live a couple times, and possibly their best song is from The Man Machine, which came out in 1981. The song is Numbers. And so I highly recommend that. If you have any interest in electronic music, this is one of the gold standards of electronic music. It's highly influential. Kraftwerk has been sampled a lot by rap artists. You
Mm.
probably already know. And the other song, very near and dear to my heart, Randy Crawford, You Might Need Somebody. This is from the album Secret Combination. It was, I guess you could call it her breakthrough album, but she had a hit in 1980, One Day I'll Fly Away. This was produced by Joe Sample of the Crusaders. She originally
Wow.
sang with the Crusaders in 1979. That song, Street Life, was a huge
Yeah.
hit.
No, that both of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they've worked together off and on over the years. And this album is just my favorite. Secret Combination 1981. There's not a bad song on the album. And this is the best one, the first song on the album. You Might Need Somebody. She does some fabulous remakes, really great remakes. Rainy Night in Georgia comes right to mind right
Wow.
away. Okay, 82. Oh no, there's a bonus song for 81. Okay, it's 21 songs, all right. I couldn't leave the song off. Listen to the 8 track was not on Ian Hunter's album in 1981, Short Back and Sides. It was on the extra disc that came out later of the outtakes from that album. So this song is an outtake from that album. And it's
Wow.
my favorite song on the album. And it's an outtake. Listen to the 8 track. Basically, in this song, he's in his car in the parking lot with his girlfriend, and they're listening to Bruce Springsteen's new album, The River, 1980. And what a great scenario for a song. It's a storytelling
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
but he's a brilliant songwriter, Ian Hunter. He's in my top two, Bob Dylan and Ian Hunter. That's how high he rates as a songwriter for me.
Wow.
1982, Bad Company. I'm showing my age again, right? They were 70s rockers. This is from their last album with Paul Rodgers, 1982. It's called Rough Diamonds. And I love that album, even though it's different from all the other Bad Company records. This one has country flavor. The whole album has a country flavor to it. It rocks, but it has it's like, not country rock like the Eagles or anything like that, man. This still rocks. But if you're at all lover of any Bad Company song, I would recommend Rough Diamonds. It's a grower. It'll grow on you like a fungus and it won't let go. Okay. Downhill rider. Here's a further proof that I heard some strange things on the radio back in 1982. Mike Oldfield, he's famous in the 70s for Tubular Bells, right? That instrumental, the 40-minute instrumental that Bill's Instruments, right? That built Virgin Records back in 1973 or something. Well, he kept on making records, right? He kept on making instrumental albums during the 70s, but when 1980 rolled around, he started exploring having vocalists and writing songs with words. And he tended to favor the female vocalists. More about that later. Uh, so this song features Maggie O'Reilly singing 5 Miles Out, and it is a tour de force because Mike Oldfield plays everything. He had a band at this point, and so this song just goes everywhere. There's no way it could have been an American hit because it just goes everywhere. It's like it's quirky like Bohemian Rhapsody. It just goes everywhere. I'll leave it at that. Got to keep this thing moving. 1983. Okay, now we go off the deep end. I'm trying to remember, but I think it was like everybody else. Maybe you heard Chariots of Fire because of the movie. Vangelis did the soundtrack, and at the time, I thought, oh, okay, that's cool, whatever. I wasn't a Vangelis fan, but then I heard that he collaborated with the lead singer of Yes, John Anderson, and they made albums, and I fell in love with those albums. So I started devouring everything Vangelis. And to tell you the truth, this might be his best song. Antarctica Echoes is from the album Antarctica, which is a soundtrack for the film Antarctica, which was not made in America, of course. It's a really touching film about snow dogs, that are, I don't want to tell too much of the plot, but I can tell you this, they get left behind by their master in Antarctica.
No, well, I don't
Yeah,
want to talk about the dog, so keep
but
on.
but it has a happy ending. Don't worry, the
Okay,
film has a happy
okay,
ending.
got it, got
Leave
it.
it at that. But it's such a great adventure, that film Antarctica, and the music by Vangelis, it just adds to the emotion of the whole film. And the most
Okay.
emotional of all the songs, instrumentals, was Antarctica Echoes. Just one of the most beautiful pieces of music I've ever heard.
Wow.
Okay, I'm serious. And speaking of not so serious, when I thought of putting numbers on the list, Kraftwerk numbers, right? What did my head do when it heard the word numbers? It heard the Soft Cell song, if you know Soft Cell, right? Soft Cell, they were what you call them, new wave, right? That 80s sound with all the synths and everything. There were only two guys in the band, right? Mark Allman was the singer-songwriter, and David Ball, he played the keyboards. And they would write some really emotive songs. Because Mark Allman, he just was a good emotional writer. And so this song is called Numbers, no relation to the Kraftwerk song, but this song is kind of a body count of lovers past. Okay, leave it at that. 1984. No Van Halen here, I think. Although, they're popular, but, I went off the deep end. Vangelis led me to Tangerine Dream. Now, Tangerine Dream is a band that never had American hits, right? They did a soundtrack to a film called Sorcerer, which is a remake of Wages of Fear. You know that movie, right, Marvin?
Oh
Remember
yes.
Wages of Fear, the black and white film where they drive a
Yeah.
dynamite truck?
And that is a great movie. That should be
Yeah,
one. That should be one of the top three
of all
poem of
time.
all time.
It really is one of the top 10 of all time. And the remake of that film is called Sorcerer. It was directed by Martin Scorsese. Okay, so you know it's good. It was almost as
I
good
don't have
as
to.
Wages of Fear, but they changed the ending. I won't tell you how, but
Wow.
the original ending was dynamite, right? Yeah. Back to the song. So Tangerine Dream did the soundtrack for that, but it was okay. What I really like about Tangerine Dream is this particular album that came out in 1984. It's a live album called Poland, recorded in, you guessed it, Poland, and it only has 4 songs in the album. It's a double album. Each song is like 20 minutes. Sound like yes. Except these are instrumental, right? They're instrumental. Tangerine Dream instrumentals. And so the
Wow.
best song on the album, they're not stupid. It's the fourth song, Horizon, is the best song on the album. It's the closest you'll ever hear an electronic act get to making you rock and dance at the same time. Tangerine Dream of all groups did that in 1984. And here's a band that everybody might know, right? They had huge hits in the 80s, the Eurythmics. Everybody knows those songs, okay? But my favorite is their most obscure album of all their albums. They did an album called 1984 for the love of Big Brother, right? It's on the theme of 1984, but I don't know if they actually used that music in the movie 1984. I think they didn't, or they did. I have trouble remembering if they used the Eurythmics music, but this music is a perfect soundtrack for that story. And every song just resonates for me because I know the story, right? If you know the story, 1984, and if you love the singing of Annie Lennox of the Eurythmics, their sound, you're going to love this album. It's just obscure. The one song that was attempted to be a single was called Sex Crime, and it was more of a dance record, really. It was like something you'd hear in the clubs, so it wasn't a popular hit. But the album is just fascinating. All the electronic textures. This is their most electronic album. They even have some instrumentals in this album. This is the best song for the love of Big Brother. There's another song called Julia, gorgeous. You have a song called Room 101. If you know the story, it's a pretty scary instrumental. And I'll leave it at that. Moving on, 1985. Got to keep this brisk. Country music.
How old is Lenny?
I don't love
Lenny
country
Lennox?
music, but Nancy Griffith, I do love. She is my second love after Linda Ronstadt. I went to see her at the Strawberry Festival in the mountains of Northern California. Bluegrass Festival, it's the Strawberry
Oh,
Festival, just to see Nancy Griffith
I
because,
saw her in concert with Guy Clark and Rodney Crowell.
oh, then you know the beauty of Nancy Griffith. Her
Oh
music
yeah.
is just, it's very, it tells stories, it tells real stories of real people. And this particular one, Mary and Omi, is my favorite from the album Once in a Very Blue Moon, which is her best album. And God rest her soul. She passed away about
Yeah.
5 years ago. And what an artist she was. An artist she was. I just didn't get the chance to meet her. Or maybe, no, I don't think I could have changed her destiny. She would have changed mine. All right, more about that later. 85. Okay, I'm showing my age again. The Firm. Paul Rogers of Bad Company and Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin get together because old Jimmy Page was kind of depressed and Paul was trying to uplift his spirits. And so, let's do an album together, man.
What album is that?
And the album is called The Firm,
Oh, the
self-titled. And it
phone.
had a song on it called
Okay.
Radioactive, was a
Midnight
radio
Moon.
song.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah. And, it was a decent radio song. Paul Rogers was a great singer. Jimmy Page plays a great guitar. Okay, it was all right. But it was it was just like hearing the 70s again, you know? And I'm afraid this song is like that too. Midnight Moonlight is a 10-minute song. It's a Led Zeppelin outtake sung with Paul Rodgers. And I think
Wow.
it was originally named after his studio, his home studio, uh, whatever the name of his home studio was. I can't think of it right now, I'm blanking out. But this particular song, it takes its time, it takes a sweet time, it stretches out like the best long Led Zeppelin songs used to do, a real blues number, and it's worth the price of admission. Midnight Moonlight Lady, 1986. I'm trying to speed through this. Robert Cray, Right Next Door.
Mhm.
If you know it, you know it's good. Robert Cray, what an album. Strong Persuader. Great top to bottom. Not a bad song on the album. His best album. And he's in good company, right? He's revered by a lot of other blues artists. They collaborated. And of course, the best song is the one that resonated most with me, Right Next Door. I won't explain why. I just can relate to the song. Let's leave it at that. So, you know, I love instrumental music, and Harold Budd might be the most ethereal of them all. I swear to you, not this album, but later on, he would create an album called Luxa that came
Yeah.
out 10 years later, 1996, I think it was. And on that album, there's a song called Chet, which is the perfect example of using silence in a song. No song greater than Chet to demonstrate silence, how silence works in a song. Take my word for it. But as a good introduction to I won't say Robert Craig. As a good introduction to Harold Budd, I recommend his album Lovely Thunder. It is a lovely album. Every song is utterly lovely, and Flower Knife Shadows is the loveliest. And I
Mm.
only learned about Harold Budd because that song was on a compilation album. And then that introduced me to Harold Budd, and big fan. What can I say? 1987, Happy Roads, another one of my musical loves. In 1983, I was in college and I took a class called something like the art of creativity. And every week we had a different subject. So, like one week we would have somebody that would teach us line dancing, and another week someone would teach us meditation, right? It was always some form of art. And that got me listening to the radio station that the teacher liked. It was not a LA station, but it was a more obscure station from some college that was in the Inland Empire somewhere. And on that station, I heard Happy Roads sing Feed the Fire, which is actually a tribute song to David Bowie and Yes, of all combinations. And she had an amazing voice. She's like two people singing almost at once. She has a very high voice and a very low voice, just like Kate Bush, who, of course, Kate Bush, who I dated back in the early 80s, but we'll talk about that in another video. Okay, it wasn't Kate Bush, but someone who looked exactly like her. Okay. Anyway, Happy Roads, very gothic. She's like a gothic Bowie and Yes put together. And she does her own songwriting. It's brilliant. She worked with Kevin Gilbert. You might have heard of Kevin Gilbert. He's a very brilliant producer who unfortunately died young. But he's the one that discovered her and got her cassettes made back in the 80s. And they are real collector's items. And the best song from her best album, Ecto, in 1987, is When the Rain Came Down. Watch the video on YouTube and you'll be a convert too. Oh, look what name came up again. Mike Oldfield. Mike Oldfield, I already told you, had a thing for female vocalists in his albums. And so what happened? He met Anita Hedgerland. You know, that one from Norway. She was a child singer. She used to sing with Roy Buchanan, who was much older than her. That was a story for another day. And they met, and she sang with him. And boy, did they work well together. They worked well so well
Wow.
together. They had a baby. They had a
Ah,
baby boy.
that's good. I thought you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
say,
yeah. They
okay,
didn't get married though, but
got it. Oh,
they made some
cool.
great music. They made some great music. North Point might be the best of her songs with him. Came out in 1987 on the Islands album, which also features that lady who's been in the hospital lately, Bonnie Tyler. I hope she's doing better. Right? Total Eclipse of the Heart, that lady. She also collaborated with Michael Field singing the title song Islands from the Islands album. But North Point is a very evocative song. So I love it. Dang it. Dang it. I guess I have a thing for the ladies too. 1988, Ofra Haza from Israel. Absolutely gorgeous voice. They called her the Barbra Streisand of Israel, and she really earned that title. What a
Wow.
singer! What a singer! And back in the 80s, and especially in the late 80s, there was a bit of a dance craze. You can blame Donna Summer for that too, right? Because she got produced by that German producer. I can't think of his name right now because I'm rushing along. But she has an album called Sade. It's her
Mm.
best album. Came out in 1988. Two hits on it were Imnin Alu and Galbi. Galbi is the more ethnic one. She also made an album before that. That wasn't a hit, of course, because it was done in the traditional style. So you can hear this
Oh,
song done in the traditional style too, and it's really good both ways. It really is. It's Galbi Overhaza, gorgeous, and unfortunately, she died of AIDS, given to her by her husband. I really regret not
Oops.
going to Thomas Dolby's party. I was invited to it. Ofra was there. She was collaborating with Thomas Dolby. I could have met her. I could have changed her life, but I didn't do it. Talk about a self-indulgent episode. I'm sorry. We're almost done. Danielle Dex, if you don't know her, she's kind of like in the same category as Kate Bush, right? She's kind of weird, pretty and weird. And she did an album called Dark Adapted Eye that had
Mm.
a couple of English dance hits, Cat House and something like Hollow Man was the other one. Anyway, so this is one of the songs in the album that was like an underground hit, Touch Piggy's Eyes. And it's every bit as weird as the title. Very enjoyable. It gets kind of you'll cringe because it's so evocative. So if you like quirky, Touch Piggy's Eyes, Daniel Dex. You can't go wrong. Finally, 1989, my favorite song of the 80s, Belfast Child by Simple Minds, which instrumentally is a remake of She Moves Through the Fair, that classical song. And he puts his lyrics on it. Belfast Child. It's an anti-war song. It's a long song, 6 or 7 minutes. Not a hit in America. It was a worldwide #1 song, except in America. It's the most progressive rock album Simple Minds ever made. It's called Street Fighting Years. It's my favorite Simple Minds album, and they had a lot of good albums. I highly recommend that album. If you didn't turn into it because you didn't hear any hits, well, you're missing a great album. Every song is great. And am I finally, yeah, the last song, Stan Ridgway, who was in Wall of Voodoo. If you know Wall of Voodoo, they had a song called Mexican Radio, was a radio hit. But my favorite song was their remake of Johnny Cash's song, uh, Ring of Fire. It's like the Halloween version of Ring
Oh,
of Fire.
oh,
But this song is even quirkier and better because Stan Ridgway was a great songwriter. He wrote great songs that told stories. And being a poet, I dig that. And this song is the best storytelling song from his album Mosquitoes that came out in 1989. It's called Peg and Pete and Me. It's about a love triangle. Check it out. I'm done. I want to thank these guys for indulging me, but I just couldn't let go of the 80s because there's so many things that just continue to form my love of music in many directions. And Marvin even surprised me with his choices, right? That was another direction. Here's a
that's
guy,
fun.
we're always talking music and we have different tastes, but it's fun to talk about it because we like to talk about our differences and our commonalities.
I
Isn't that what
got
we
it.
should be doing, right?
Yep.
Find the
Love
music.
it.
All right. So until Wednesday, thanks for visiting.